This story is part of our special Pride collection. Happy Pride Month. If you'd like to request a story, please use the link in the description. The floorboards creaked above, the rhythmic thump of dancing feet echoing through the dusty beams. I snuggled deeper into the musty armchair, savoring the worn velvet beneath my fingers. This abandoned mansion had a way of whispering stories from its past, and tonight it was sharing the tale of two lovers whose bond was as resilient as the mansion's ancient bones. My name is Olivia, though most folks around these parts call me Liv. My granddad left this house to me, along with his tattered journals filled with tales of lost love and haunted houses. He hoped I'd carry on his legacy, becoming the next great ghost story chronicler. That sounded like a wild adventure, but I never imagined I'd be knee-deep in spectral romance within my first week on the job. The air grew colder, sending a shiver down my spine. Above, the music swelled, then abruptly stopped, leaving only the beating of my own heart. As the silence stretched, I felt a cold spot settle on my shoulder. Then the floorboards creaked again, not with the joyous stomp of dancing feet, but with a slow, deliberate step. My breath hitched as footsteps approached. I whirled around in the armchair to find myself face to face with the specter of a man. His form shimmered like heat waves on a summer road, and the sadness in his eyes mirrored the crumbling grandeur of the house. "Don't be afraid," he rasped, his voice like wind chimes in a graveyard. "I won't hurt you." He gestured with a translucent finger toward the stairs. "Up there," he whispered urgently, "you need to hear their story." As suddenly as he appeared, he vanished, and I was left with the echo of his words and the chill of his touch. The apparition hadn't meant just any story. This was Amelia and Victoria's tale, a tale that had remained hidden within the mansion's walls for over 50 years. Their story started much like any other. Two people met, they fell in love, and all the pieces of their lives fit into place. But this was no ordinary love story. These were no ordinary people. Victoria owned half of this town, but not through inheritance or luck. Victoria built her empire from the ground up. I found documents in the attic detailing her meteoric rise in the business world. Every signature on every document was bold, confident, unwavering. But it was her personal belongings that revealed the beating heart within the steely exterior. Among her trophies and plaques, I found a well-worn copy of Jane Eyre, a bouquet of dried lavender tied with a faded ribbon, and a box of seashells that whispered of faraway vacations. Then there was Amelia. Born into wealth, she could have easily lived off her family's name and money, yet she became a force in her own right. In her diary, I read of board meetings and business deals, alongside entries about baking cookies, gardening, and dabbling in pottery. But how did these two brilliant, driven women meet? One evening while organizing files in Victoria's office, I came across a leather-bound guest book from some sort of charity event. Flipping through the pages, I found Amelia's name scribbled in elegant script alongside the date of that fateful night. Across from her name, Victoria had written simply, "The best is yet to come." It was signed Vicky. For a moment, I held both their futures in my hands, knowing their paths would converge in ways neither could have predicted. Amelia's mother had pushed her toward the event, hoping to connect her with potential investors. What she didn't know was that this event was Victoria's pet project. Over the years, Victoria had used it to scout for talent, not romantic partners. But that all changed the night Amelia walked into the ballroom, radiant in a midnight blue gown, her laughter ringing like wind chimes. Victoria, seated at her table signing checks with practiced ease, looked up and their eyes locked across the crowded room. Time stood still as Amelia met Victoria's gaze, unaware that in that instant, their fates were intertwined forever. Their worlds were different, their backgrounds varied, but their connection was immediate, undeniable. After the event, they started meeting in secret, stealing moments in quiet cafes or long walks under the starlit sky. They found solace in each other's company, sharing dreams, fears, and the unspoken longing in their hearts. But their clandestine meetings couldn't last. Soon enough, the whispers started. By day, they were colleagues, maintaining a professional facade despite the lingering looks and raised eyebrows. By night, they explored the labyrinthine rooms of Victoria's mansion, finding refuge in its shadowed halls and hidden nooks. There, amidst flickering candlelight and whispered promises, they carved out a space where they could be themselves, free from judgment or expectations. As their love deepened, so did the danger. Victoria's reputation was her shield, deflecting any rumors that dared surface. Yet the fear of exposure hung over them like a shroud. The specter of societal scorn and professional ruin loomed, threatening to tear them apart. Their solace came in the quiet corners of the mansion. They curled up by the fireplace in the music room, listening to the ghosts of waltzes past. In the library, surrounded by tales of mythical loves, they whispered their own vows. On moonlit nights, they climbed the tower, gazing at the stars and dreaming of a life beyond judgmental eyes. One day, the walls whispered their secrets anyway. Amidst board meetings and charity galas, news of their relationship spread like wildfire. Society recoiled, friends turned away, and colleagues looked askance. In the face of condemnation, Victoria made a choice. She'd rather lose the world's approval than lose Amelia. She started speaking out, countering rumors with quiet dignity, her love for Amelia a beacon in the darkness. Years passed and the whispers faded, leaving echoes of scorn and pity. But within the mansion, their love story continued. They found joy in the smallest things, a shared book, a walk in the rain, or simply holding each other as they watched the sunrise paint the sky in hues of hope and new beginnings. They built their life piece by piece, brick by loving brick, proving that true love can weather even the fiercest storms. As I closed the diary, tears blurred the ink-stained pages. Victoria and Amelia's love story wasn't just about grand gestures or passionate declarations. It was in the everyday moments, the shared silences, the quiet comforts, and the unwavering support. Their mansion echoed with their laughter, their arguments, their dreams. It was a testament to their enduring bond, a bond that death itself couldn't break. As dawn painted the sky with the promise of a new day, I knew their story wasn't over. It had merely begun. Back in the dusty present, I felt a gentle nudge. Turning, I found Amelia standing before me, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion, "for telling our story." Beside her, Victoria, her gaze fixed on the floor, nodded slowly. "It's beautiful," she murmured, reaching out to caress Amelia's cheek. And in that moment, I understood. This house wasn't just about the ghosts or the gables. It was about the love stories that unfolded within its walls, the ones that resonated even in the silence of the grave. As the morning light streamed through the attic window, bathing us in golden hues, I knew I wasn't just a chronicler of ghost stories. I was a keeper of memories, a weaver of tales that touched the heartstrings of even the dead. Victoria and Amelia's story might have been etched in stone and whispered on the wind, but it was in the telling that it truly came alive. And as long as there are storytellers and listeners, their love will continue to echo through the corridors of time. The floorboards groaned beneath my feet as I made my way through the maze of rooms, each step echoing with the whispers of the past. Sunlight streamed through stained glass windows, painting kaleidoscopic patterns on the floor. As I rounded a corner, I spotted a faded oil painting leaning against the wall. It depicted a couple, their faces obscured by time and grime, yet the love in their embrace was timeless. I ran my fingers over the glass, feeling the cool surface beneath my touch. Who were these people? Had they lived and loved within these very walls? Or were they merely a figment of the artist's imagination? The questions danced on my lips, but there were no answers to be found. The house sighed around me, its breath echoing through the empty halls. I wandered into the garden, seeking solace among the overgrown roses and gnarled oak trees. Here, amidst the fragrant blooms and rustling leaves, I felt a sense of peace, but the silence was heavy with untold stories. As the wind rustled through the branches, I swore I heard snippets of laughter, fragments of conversations long past. Were they the echoes of former residents, their spirits lingering in the twilight of the day? The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the lawn. The air grew cooler, and with the fading light, the house seemed to shrink, its secrets buried deep within its aging bones. As darkness enveloped me, I knew it was time to leave. Stepping out of the wrought iron gates, I turned for one last glance. The house stood bathed in moonlight, its silhouette stark against the inky sky. And for a fleeting moment, I saw them, the couple from the painting, standing side by side in the window, their love a beacon in the gathering gloom. And as I walked away, I carried their story with me, a testament to the enduring power of love and the mysteries that lie at the heart of every old house.